Hello, Jim Howard here. Well, I got in the keyboard, and it is here. And the instruction book that came with it, well, it didn't come with my, but I have some glasses. I think number 2 power is what I ordered. And I had a hell of a time with even using that. And I took my camera and then through the viewfinder or my cell phone, but using the photo part to look at it a little bit. And I really wasn't sure if because I'd used their software before. Sorry, I'm hungry. I'll try to stop that for. I'd used their software before, and I recognized this flavor when I installed it, and it worked. And well, let me show you. By the way, this, wow, the magnets are really, this is what do you call it? Man, God damn. The armrest or whatever it is down here at the bottom. And it feels really, I mean, it's plastic or whatever it is. I did the, now you're saying flashing, but that's because, this is being recorded on the computer, but when you're looking at what I'm looking at it, I don't see the flashing, except when I look at my monitor. Anyway, I did the same thing this time that I did with this similar software before, and that's I just went to I went to one of the settings was to make all the keys the same color, and I made them red. I could have been happy with white or red or something, but all the rest of these I'm really not interested in all these things that it can do. So it worked. I downloaded it and it works. I'm running Windows 11. Now, before when I got it for another keyboard, what I did with the software, my plan was that I would have all of the regular keys that you type with, have them be white or red or something, and then the other keys kind of grouped together, but then I just decided to go back to what I did with that other keyboard, and that was to make all of the keys red and have none of them flashing, blinking, or doing anything like that. Just there they are. By the way, they said that it would take 5 to 7 days for delivery, and I think it made it in 5 or 6 days. I was kind of pissed because, in fact, I think the previous video, oh, I'm sorry, I gotta have one of these. I'm hungry. Oh well, so I ordered from Red Dragon instead of Amazon. And I really prefer ordering from Amazon from a number of reasons. But I was a little bit pissed. The previous video, I think, I mentioned it. that there's a small town with about 10,000 people that is, you know, right up next to Dallas, Texas. And I'm in Fort Worth, so, you know, this is Dallas, Fort Worth, you know, sort of a, like when I was in Kansas City, Missouri. Well, it was the same thing there, you know, Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, you know, right next to each other. Some of the streets, you know, one side of the street is in Missouri, one side it was a shopping mall. And some of the parking lots were in Kansas and that type of thing. So, how did I get on this subject? Don't know. Oh, so there's this little community here, 10,000 people, and this package got right away, you know, the next day or whatever, it was there. And then it sat there for about 3 days or whatever, and I thought, what, you know, you know, just take a couple of steps and you'll be in, you know, you'll be in Dallas, you know. But anyway, it got here, and they said 5 to 7 days, and it made it in, I think, 5 days. Maybe it was 6. So that's okay, and I did not need this, you know, next day delivery or anything like that. Sometimes it's with Amazon, same day delivery. Anyway, the keyboards here, they really did well with this wrist rest or whatever it is. It feels high quality, and it snapped right on. I've had things before that, I mean, this snapped on, and it's going to stay. Their book, I don't blame them, you know, any of these companies. But God Almighty, the print is so small. I'm having cataract surgery for 2 eyes, not at the same time, in January. And I'm 82, so I hope I have a few years left in me and that I can enjoy some good sight. Because pretty quick it went downhill. 2 years ago, I had my first eye exam in years and years, and they found a cataract in each eye over in the corner. Said it's not, you know, and I said, oh, let's not worry about it. And so then the next year I was supposed to go. If you're a diabetic, you're supposed to go every year. A lot of diabetics go blind, so you need to go. I didn't go the next year. And then when I went this time, you know, I used to be, when I was in Missouri, I became allergic to ragweed, and it drove me crazy. And now, I've been down here, well, let's see. Well, let's say, to make it easy, because I was here several times, 12 years. And now my nose is running all the time, and I don't know if they have ragweed here, but it's probably something else if it is. But anyway, so I'm happy with this keyboard, although I have, you know, and almost never, I can't say I've been doing this for so long. I've done just about everything. One time, I might have mentioned this in a video, just a brief thing, a long time ago. I was in Kansas City, Missouri, running the bulletin board system, modem, you know, connected, and people connecting at 300, but I don't think it was 300 at that time. It was 1200 or, I don't know, 6400 or something. I forget what it was. And some people logged in to, you know, they logged in, and, you know, it'd say Howard's Notebook, welcome. And type in your name or something like that. I forget exactly what they typed in. Help, help, help us. And what is it going? And they said, we work for a doctor who does abortions. I'm not sure if they said abortions or something like that. And he has decided to stop doing them. Now, this is way back. He has decided to stop doing them. And we have taken over the employees here. We have taken over the clinic and kicked him out. And the police have the place surrounded, and they have cut our telephone line and something else. And the only line left open was the computer line to our modem. And so we're contacting you. Please, please contact the news media. Tell them what's going on here. So I've seen a lot of stuff. Anyway, I called the news media, and then on the news at 6 p.m. or 5 p.m. or whatever it was, I switched it on to see it was somebody just playing a game, And then I saw the employees being let out. I don't know if they were in handcuffs or not being let out. The police had finally taken the place over. They turned the power off, too. I think they turned the power off, but then if they turned the power off, maybe they didn't. But they turned the telephones off. I can't remember. A long time ago. So I canceled Spectrum internet service, which I had for years. In fact, I had we had television, back then, cable television, and that they charged so much money, over $100 for the few channels that I got. And Darlene, who is very tight with money, they were charging her like $130. She was spending it to get channels to watch. And so I've been with them. So I got rid of the cable stuff, the channels, that type of stuff. And but then the price didn't come down very much. It came down a little bit, $50 a month or whatever, because I was having slower speed internet for several years. And then I went to a terabyte down. I never got a terabyte down from them. And I was paying $110 a month, I think it was, for that from Spectrum. They are a terrible company, and they haven't learned their lessons. I mean, they ripped you off big time in the past. Just big time. I mean, they might as well have been putting a gun to your head. And people started leaving them. And, of course, then they had internet and, added other things. But you need to get away from them and go with somebody else. But if you watch my videos, I got a big problem with Verizon. I tried yesterday logging in, and it says invalid login, and then it says you want to, and I signed up again, and then I couldn't sign up after that. It just goes on and on. I may be out of business here before long. I can't get signed up. I can't get signed up with them to take my data so they can bill me, because they keep, Lordy, help us. I'm sorry. I'm hungry. Okay, let's see what's going on with CNN. The state of the United States is in such bad shape. I guess they got the main shooter. Note from main shooting suspect indicates he didn't expect to be found alive. Law enforcement say they say it's partially why drivers are searching waters near the dock where the suspect's vehicle was found. Divers are I guess they figure he drowned himself. I think there's some people they were questioning that a timeline wasn't released like the police usually do about at how long it took police to respond and that type of stuff. There was a guy at the bar at the bar next door. There was a shooting in I forget what kind of, was it a bowling alley or I forget what it was. But then the shooter went over into a bar or an eating place in a bar. And a guy who had worked there a long time, everybody said he was just a wonderful person. And when the shooter came over there, he grabbed a knife. The bartender did, and went for of course he didn't have a chance against assault rifle. He probably wouldn't have had a chance if he'd have been in, had protective pads and things on. So I guess they're thinking this guy's they drowned himself or something. Billionaire. College students protesting. So I guess this is a billionaire saying it. College students protesting Israel have shit for brains. When a New York City teacher said, when a student asked which side she's on in the Israeli Hamas, I forgot how to pronounce that now, war. Well, were you worried about global warming and everything else? Now scientists say the Earth's core is leaking. The poor Palestinian people, Hamas is a terrorist organization. Man, my nose. Oh. I've never had an allergy test. When I was married, Darlene, she had allergy tests. And then our first child, LaDonna, she had, so Darlene, when she had her allergy test, they did the arm. But on a small child, they did the back. And when Darlene had her test done, a big spot, boom, from this little tiny stick. And Darlene said to the nurse or whatever, what's that one? And the nurse said, cats. And then when LaDonna, little LaDonna, she had to do it, they did it on her back, and then boom, popped up. And we have a cat, by the way, but I guess Darlene has outgrown it or something. Maybe I'm allergic to a cat now. I don't know. I don't even know. Let's see. I would imagine that probably Texas has everything that's bad. Let's see. Online you can look up and see for areas and everything. Let's see. Is there ragweed in Texas? But I came down here. Okay. Oh, you can't see that. You can expect ragweed to show up in Texas during the fall because the temperatures in Texas rarely drop below freezing. Ragweed plants are free to grow. They can release over 1 billion grains of pollen into the Texas air each fall. So this just maybe my ragweed is back. I haven't heard of the MS-150. Are they still doing that ride for, let's see, who was it for? I don't even remember. You'd ride 150 miles. The first one, in Kansas City, but they had another, but I didn't ride it. But then, I watched it on television, that kind of stuff, and then I wanted to do it, so I bought a bicycle and was riding around and getting ready, putting on the miles, make sure I could do it for the number 2 MS-150. MS, is that multiple sclerosis? Okay, let's go. Let's see. Okay, here it is. Welcome to the MS-150. You've always been up to a challenge, and meeting this one can make a world of difference. 2 days, 150 miles that will challenge you and reward you like no other cycling event. With power versus fatigue, training versus excuses. It's time to ride the MS-150 bike tour. Register now. Let's see. It's got to be multiple sclerosis, MS. Yeah, multiple sclerosis, the national multiple. Anyway, so for the second year, I wanted to ride it. I went out practicing, and I'd get out, and my nose was running, my eyes were watering, all kinds of problems. So I don't usually go to the doctor for colds, and I don't usually go to the doctor for anything. Well, now at my age, I go like once a year. Well, then I have to go to more than one doctor. But I went to the doctor, and I said, I don't understand, last year. And he said, was that about this time? I said, yeah, I wanted to ride for the MS-150, but I said, couldn't do it because my nose was running constantly, eyes were watering. I was just horrible. And I said, now it's the same thing. What's going on? He said, you've got hay fever. And what caused it was I was working at a hospital, a small hospital right in my community, just a few blocks away. And in a mobile home that I owned, it wasn't fancy. It did not have air conditioning. I was working a midnight shift, and I'd come in Missouri, and I would come home, and I'd get off like at 6. I'd get home as quick as I was like 5 minutes away or less. I'd get home, and I would get into bed immediately, because if I didn't, when the temperature went up, I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. But if I went, and got in bed, I'd be sweating like a pig, or maybe pigs don't sweat, I don't know. And and I'd wake up, and I'd be like an oven. In fact, that's a mobile home. That's what you can expect, I think. But I got a gigantic fan, and it moved air through you could have tested aircraft for like wind tunnels or something, or or at least paper mache, or throwing them up, and it was just pulling air through there, and so I got just so that's my experience with ragweed, hay fever. And I guess one thing I probably could do is on your cell phone and online, and wherever you live, you can go and you can find, what the pollen count and stuff like that is. And I guess I could probably tell, by that. Anyway, with the keypad or the keyboard, it came also with, like the last one did, with some extra keys and the tools to whatever. And so I've got some from before that I never used. And thanks for pulling the keys. So I want to make sure I save this box and put all this stuff from all these ones that I have in that one box. Right now I've got 3 keyboards, Red Dragon ones laying against the wall over there. There just, isn't enough room here. I worked security for years. I worked a lot of jobs. I worked hospital security 30 years. Anyway, at one hospital that I worked at, I was a supervisor. I mean, I wasn't hired in as a supervisor, but pretty quick I was a supervisor. And I worked second shift as supervisor, and then after a number of years, I went to the first shift as supervisor. When I went over there, I had 8 parking lot attendants and 4 or 5 security officers I was supervisor for. And a couple of the parking lot attendants, they were just, I didn't really know that much about ragweed, and they were miserable, eyes watering, and of course I found out about it later. So I tried to be, like the guy that was in the front parking lot or whatever. There was doctor's parking and specialized parking, whatever, and I said, stand inside the double doors where there's air conditioning, and you can look out and watch the area and whatever. And so I thought I was being really, being a nice guy, and the same with the other guy. There was another guy, and I said, well, step into the Rehabilitation Institute and stand in there a little while, And then, of course, when I got hay fever, and I'm not sure I got it as bad as those two guys had it. But then I found out, no, it doesn't. That doesn't really help you that much when you're outside. Ragweed's hitting you, sticking to your clothes and your hair. I mean, everything. So I really wasn't such a nice guy. Although they might have thought that maybe they felt better standing inside some air conditioning for a while. Maybe it helped them for a few minutes. I don't know. But okay. You know, my eyes bother me too, so I would hope that it is hay fever and not the cat. Although the cat that we have is just a pain in the ass. It's a sweet cat, but it's just underneath your feet all the time, and it's got me figured out. When I wake up at night or whatever, and my light comes on or whatever, then it knows I'm getting up and knows that I can feed it or something, you know, and it more or less leads me in there to its food dish or something. And Darlene's in a wheelchair, and the cat gets in front of her wheelchair, and Darlene's afraid she's going to run over it, you know. This apartment complex, our name is Howard, so the whatever the cat's name is, what's the cat's name? The last part's Howard. We have to pay every month for it, you know. And they have it listed as D.D. Howard. But it's a sweet cat. Okay, I think that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, click on your thumbs up. Please subscribe. Use any of the links you can below. Oh, by the way, I'm back. Let's see, I paid $12.78 to Dropbox. What is Dropbox? Don't remember. I was going to say something. Oh, subscribe, click the thumbs up. If you can, use any of the links below. There's a link below, I think. If you click on it, it takes you to PayPal. And if you want to make a donation, feel free to make a donation. I will thoroughly use it for not things that I need, but things that I want. Something like that. Kind of worried about the cataract surgery that I'm having. I have insurance, and it's good insurance, but there are some things that are not covered, so I'm kind of worried about that. But that's in January. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.